Now, back to the interview from a few minutes ago with Barnes, Leslie, and Jimmy. The best of the Morning X.
99X.
We're talking to Michael Moore, who's got the movie out right now, the big one, also the book, Downsize This.
Which is an excellent book I read, and in fact, I read my autographed copy.
Wow.
That's right.
Did it make it better?
Yeah, it did. It just brought it to life more.
Good.
I could hear Michael actually reading the words to me. There are two kinds of issues in the movie. Like the one we touched on with these companies that will close up shop and maybe move to Mexico just so they can get cheap labor and turn a bigger profit and put a lot of people out of jobs. But there's also the issue in the movie with the workers at Borders Books wanting to unionize, and there was a story in the paper over the last couple of days about some high school kids, wherever they are, who are striking against McDonald's for a myriad of reasons. But
Where is that? Where was that at?
where was that?
I saw that too. I couldn't believe that. Once it goes that, this is really the next wave, because especially like these kids, they graduate from college and they end up, all they can get is a $6 an hour job at Borders or McDonald's. You expect a little bit more from life than that.
Yeah, but is that Borders' fault? I mean, it is a retail job. Working at McDonald's, I mean, should a McDonald's worker make $12 an hour? It's
No.
What's
No,
the
they
incentive?
shouldn't.
What's the incentive for higher education or to really get a degree if anybody can get a $12 an hour job?
You see, here's the thing: they don't need to pay them $12 an hour. But if you paid people a little bit more than what we call the minimum wage right now, what would people do with that money? Think about this. This is what's really, I don't understand why even conservative people oppose raising the minimum wage. Because if you give people an extra $1 an hour, what are they going to do with that dollar? Go buy some stocks and bonds, stock it away in the bank somewhere.
Right.
They go out and they go to Kmart. They go and buy things. They put the money into the economy, and when they buy things, that creates more jobs, and it enhances the profits of all the companies because people are spending money. So it's in your best interest as an employer to make sure that your employees are paid a decent wage, because they'll spend that money, and that helps all the companies. It helps all the economy.
Now, the companies, of course, their retort would be, with those profits, we can build more plants and employ more people.
They don't do that, though. You see, what they're doing now is they're always trying to figure out, either how they can build that new plant in Reynosa, Mexico, or this is a very common thing, that let's say somebody retires at your radio station there, the company a lot of times now will not replace that person. They'll just say, well, everybody can just kind of divide up that person's job because the company doesn't want to replace that person.
Hey, I want to shift gears and talk about something way more important. This OJ thing that I read about 3 or 4 months ago, about you wheeling OJ out onto a set, a TV set, to an unknowing audience, and what happened, and what is it, and where is it?
Well, I'm the only person to have convinced OJ in the last 3 years to appear before an audience and answer any question, no holds barred.
What was the TV show? Was it a pilot?
It's a pilot for a Fox late night show. It's a combination talk show, TV Nation type show.
Right.
And we're waiting to hear whether or not they're going to pick it up for the fall.
Wasn't there a scene there, though? What happened?
Well, yeah, people were pretty stunned, and probably about a dozen people just stormed out. They were so upset that he walked out on the stage.
You just said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Here is O.J. Simpson.
Right, yeah. I said, he's appeared in numerous films and TV shows. He won the Heisman Trophy in 1968. Please welcome O.J. Simpson. Some people thought I was just putting them on, or it was a look-alike or something. But when they realized it was the real deal, and he sits down, and I say to him, my first question is, I said, OJ, we might as well just get this out of the way right at the beginning here. I think it's the question that's on the minds of most people here, and I think we deserve an honest answer. Do you think adding 10 yards to the kickoff has ruined professional football? And his jaw dropped. Everybody's jaw dropped, and kind of went crazy from there.
Well, you've gone on record many times as saying that you believe he was innocent, and without getting into that,
well, I don't believe he's innocent. I believe that there's reasonable doubt, and I don't believe the police version of what happened. He very well could have committed those murders. Only the dog was a witness. Only the dog really knows what happened there.
Okay.
I just think there's more to the story that we've been told, and I told him that on that show. I don't believe the police version. I don't believe your version.
So
and
people...
I do believe you were there at that crime scene. I don't know in what capacity.
Right.
And I hope someday, that we find out what the real truth is.
And he just looked at you and smiled and said nothing?
It was the only time during the interview, because when I asked him directly, did you kill her, did you kill him? And he's very clear, looked me right in the eye. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. And gave his explanation and all that. But at the end, when I confronted him with, okay, let's say you didn't, but I believe you were there. I believe you were there at the crime scene. It was the only time that his eyes started, shifting away and his upper lip started sweating. And I thought, wow, maybe I was onto something there. There's, the story is a little more complex than the way it was presented to us.
Kind of like Clinton saying he didn't have a 12-year relationship, but he had an 11-year relationship.
Exactly.
Was the crowd jeering or yelling anything? Or
well, no, it was. Well, yeah. I mean, the crowd. I mean, we went to questions from the audience, and
oh man.
But the questions are pretty good. I mean, typical New Yorkers in the audience. The guy stands up and says, "Hey, OJ, nice pair of shoes you got there. What happened to the other ones?"
I'd like to see this just to see how it went down.
Yeah, it's really a fascinating thing. I don't know if they'll ever actually air this because it's so incredible and strange and engaging. And I think what was kind of weird is that and what kind of frightened the network maybe is that at the beginning of the show I asked the audience how many of you believe that he did it, and 75% of the people raised their hands. After listening to him for an hour and grilling him with all these questions, I asked again how many people think that he did it, and 50% of the people raised their hands. So he had convinced about 25% of the audience that there was reasonable doubt that he did not commit that crime.
This interview isn't over. More after a quick break. You can also find it and more on the Morning X with Barnes and Leslie podcast. You're inside the best of the Morning X.